side-by-side coming down, and it's going to be Caleb Hall taking it.
Who can forget one hot night in 1992 with all the calamity that ensued with Dale Earnhardt, Kyle Petty, and Davey Allison? 27 years later, the track might look a little bit different. It might be sunny outside, but it still races just the same, especially under the North Carolina sun. Cosmin Ionescu will be looking to go 2 in a row for Big Evil Dodges today, but we remember back to the last mile and a half at Chicagoland with Dylan Poteet, and we expect the 22 to be strong. Brandon Nicholson down on pit lane. It's Nolan Living Good and Josh Murray bringing you the call in the commentary box live here on High Voltage Media Productions for round 7 of the Solstice Proline Cup Series. And this as we are going to do a little disclaimer with today's show. There was an incident in the timing truck between Solstice Racing and HVMP, so if you don't see our ticker that we've worked on for the past couple weeks, we do apologize. We'll have the little box in the top right corner, hopefully, to at least have the running order about the top 10 or so. As we're gonna really quickly run through qualifying order. Michael Frisch on pole position, then it's Corey Spencer. Frisch won at Homestead, another mile-and-a-half track. Keith Sherman, Joey Bailey on the second row. Chad Mikas, who is strong in Chicago, along with Nick Baker. Dylan Poteet and Dylan Smith. Jonathan Taylor, Matt Wisher, Chris Wett, Steve Rada, Brandon Lambert, Jake Poulin. Ionescu back in 15th. The Five Flags winner not having a good day. Cole DeRozier and Kyle Riley, 17 cars getting ready here for 3 stages. We end on lap 103. First stage is 25, and then 50, and then to the finish. As we get ready to rev the engines in Charlotte.
Oh, and Josh, I really can't wait. I'm so excited that we're here bringing this action to you guys. We had an incident in the HVMP compound. We had a bit of a leak, but we got everything going back for you guys, and we're bringing it live to you here at Charlotte.
As pace car is going to roll off, and we are going to begin gridding in Charlotte. And this should be fascinating. If we look at the point standings, Michael Frisch, who is on pole position, is in second in points, 6 behind Poulin. Mikas, who has not won a race yet this season, sits in the second or third position in points.
Yeah, and this is a really critical race. They're starting to gain a little bit of momentum on Jake Poulin in the points, which qualifying well and keeping your car clean up front definitely is one key to keeping your points up alive.
As Michael Frisch and Corey Spencer will lead the field through turns 3 and 4. And this should be absolutely fascinating. We have a beautiful camera pointed outside the window of the commentary box, and obviously that's our point of view. When you see from this camera, you see exactly what we can see, and it's going to be, for loss of words, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, this track is really beautiful. These guys these cars look incredible on this track.
Round 7 of the Solstice Proline Cup Series in 2019. It's going to be Michael Frisch and Corey Spencer on the front row of the grid for 103 laps here in Charlotte. Green flag. Sherman gives Frisch a little bit of a bump. Spencer on the outside going into turn number 1, side by side. It's Spencer and Frisch. Frisch peaks it, slid up the racetrack a little bit in the 58, and he holds the lead. As Mikas a little loose off of turn number 2 in the 25. Side by side, it's Bailey with Spencer. We know how fast Bailey is, as Corey Spencer really out of nowhere in car number 11 to be up near the front and off of the final corner. It's going to be Frisch leading us at the end of the first lap.
Yeah, and Corey Spencer hasn't had the best luck this season, so for him to be running third right now, he's got to be feeling pretty confident in that race car. He's wheeling it on the high side.
Spencer third, Mikas fourth, fifth is Sherman. Sixth is Poteet. Poteet being challenged by Jonathan Taylor. One around on the wall in the back. It's Wetz in the 71. The man from Texas not having a good day already. I don't believe there's going to be a caution. The Revolution Racing Ford turned backwards early on.
Ooh, and Joey Bailey is all over the back bumper of the 58 there, Michael Frisch. Here comes Spencer to the mix.
Into the inside. Spencer peaked on Bailey. He's going to try and do it, but he can't get it off of turn 2. Into turn 3. Mike is peeking into the picture now. In the 25, side by side. Spencer with Bailey. Frisch loves this. Gap was 0.08 of a second, nearly a tenth at the line last lap. It resets to 0.3 of a second. So side by side, not a good thing to do when you're trying to catch the leader.
No, and Chad's playing it really patient right now. I know he wants to get around these guys, but a little bit too early in the race to be forcing anything too crazy.
Into 3 and 4 again, side by side. These guys are not letting up. It's Spencer and Bailey, but this is not for the race lead. We have to mention again and again, the gap is now 0.4 of a second from Frisch to Bailey. As these three, aside from Spencer, have been the class of the field all season long as we begin round 7 here. 20 laps until the stage break, and Mike is now getting passed, it looks like, by Jonathan Taylor in the 7. Side by side is Poteet with Micus. Poteet's trying at least. He's now side by side with Sherman in the 15. The Mangled Metal Motorsports car on the outside of Poteet. Will he take the advantage? Nearly 3 wide. Sherman got a little loose off of turn 2, but he saved it.
Yeah, now things are starting to settle out now. Those guys starting to move their way towards the bottom of the racetrack now.
Now we're kind of single file, kind of feeling everything out. And interesting to see. As Micah slides it in turn 2, he saved it, but he's going to lose a couple spots.
Oh, he's going to lose more spots now. He's going to drop all the way to the back.
As Frisch off of turn 4. He continues to lead us here in Charlotte. Then it's Bailey, Spencer, side by side. Lambert with Poteet. He cleared Lambert. Now Dylan Smith behind his teammate, battling Poteet. And Baker in the Big Evil Dodge.
Yeah, and so we saw there the contact that ended up putting Chad Michaels up into the wall and into the back of the field. And Jake Poulin, our points leader, is behind where Chad's at in 14th. So Chad from 5th to 13th, and Poulin, our points leader, back in 14th. Interesting to see him back there.
Through 1 and 2 again. It was 3 wide nearly. Let me tell you who has impressed me so far in these opening laps. Jonathan Taylor. He is 3rd fastest lap on the track, 28.522. Frisch has a 28.512. Lambert a 4.89. But Taylor just went from 4th to 2nd in 1 lap.
And it's crazy when you can get up on the wheel. You can really get momentum through the corner and slingshot it around and get that run going down the straightaway. Oh, is Lambert getting up high?
3/10 of a second faster. 3/10 of a second faster than the 2 he was battling.
And it's amazing to see the tires come in at different times for these guys, too. Because now it looks like Bailey's struggling a little bit, and he's going to give up a little bit to Spencer here, potentially.
As Bailey into the wall on the 51, he slides it into Poteet. No, Poteet does not hit him, but the 51 slides it, parks it in the middle of the track, and gets hit by Wishart in the 32.
Oh my goodness.
As the other Prestige Worldwide car, Riley in the 40, is spun it around. We're under caution here in Charlotte.
Yeah, so we see there over on the left side of our monitor, see Wishart come around. Oh man, that's just a really bad spot as a driver. It's really hard to see, you know, if somebody's coming around like that, because it's directly in line with your A-pillars. So Not really sure who's at fault there. Saw Bailey come down the track a little bit, but he was parked there for a while, so go ahead and give you guys another look at it here. A little bit of action after the wreck. Oh, and Poulin, our points leader, gets into Kyle Riley. So a lot of calamity going on.
As we are nearing the end of the first stage here in Charlotte. Not a good day for the points leader, Jake Poulin. He has to stay out of trouble because you are not locked in if you win a race, and this is not helping him.
No, I mean, I don't know if he was trying to play it safe right around the back and then just ended up getting caught up or what was going on, but guys will definitely come down for some repairs. It looks like Kyle Riley's getting ready to film the next Cheech and Chong movie there. Smoke coming out of it.
As certainly just like the intro, the one hot night incident on the final lap of that All-Star race in 1992, we certainly have one hot day so far here in Concord, North Carolina.
Yeah, and we still have plenty of laps to go. I mean, this race is just getting started. We're already seeing some incredible action here.
As the next couple weeks are going to be fairly fascinating as we head to Darlington in 2 weeks' time. We're going to have that throwback week at the Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. Then we go up to Loudon, New Hampshire, out to the Colorado Motorplex, and over to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then we're going to find our way into the playoffs. It's funny how that happens so quick.
Yeah, it comes up on you really quick, and you know, man, we have some of the best painters in the NR 2003 community at Solstice Racing, and so to be able to see some of the paint schemes that they're going to showcase, I believe it's 80s is the theme. Look for some really sharp and fast-looking race cars that race. It's going to be incredible to watch on the broadcast.
As through pit stops here. As fun fact, my monitor ended up turning off, so I had to reset the whole thing. So the last couple of minutes haven't been very fun.
Technical difficulties are always part of the game. Live means live, Josh. So,
Frisch in the lead, Taylor second, third Poteet, then Lambert, Sherman, Ionescu, Mikas, Prada, Baker, Wishart, Wetz, DeRozier, Spencer, Poulin.
Are you saying I need to give you a raise so you can get a better monitor, or what?
Well, I do. I thought I had a very good monitor, but it just decides not to work sometimes. But it's been a rough couple of days here at the HVMP compound. A couple of storms blew in, so a lot of the stuff not playing nice with us. As it looks like we are going green again.
Yeah, so double them up, re-rack them, pull those belts tight. Here we go.
As about to restart here in Charlotte. Remember, we go to lap 25 to the end of this stage. It's interesting how everyone's on the very, very, very top of the track. We're going to have about 10 laps to go until the end of the stage. What's interesting is Joey Bailey has retired, I believe, from this race. As we are going back green, lap 15, 10 to go until the stage. And Frisch and Taylor side by side. And this is going to hurt Bailey. Bailey's fourth in points entering today in Charlotte. Jonathan Taylor peeks up on Frisch in the 58 down the backstretch, side by side. Both of them still outside has a better momentum. It's going to be Lambert and Taylor. Taylor washed up in the middle of the corner, nearly hit Frisch in 1 and 2. 3 wide in the back of the shot, nearly 4 wide. It's Ionescu, Dylan Smith, Keith Sherman, and Chad Mikas. And now Poteet in third. Frisch still holds the lead.
There's obviously a huge sense of urgency. I mean, track position is key everywhere we go because it's so hard to get up through the field. And I mean, even when they do fan out, some of these guys here in the back, unless they force the envelope here, Chad's thinking about it. That could be one way to get back up through the field.
Dylan Smith in the 5th position. Cosmin Ionescu, along with Sherman. Ionescu backed up the corner in the 24. Let's see if he has the momentum on the outside to get the job done on the 15, holding side by side. As Frisch leads Taylor, Poteet, Lambert, and Dylan Smith. Sherman 6th, Ionescu 7th, Mikas, Baker, and Rada, the top 10. Dylan Smith off of turn 4. He got a little loose there, ran it into the chicane, and he loops it in car number 1. 3 weeks in a row where he does not have
and
good
Sherman
luck.
around.
Sherman and DeRozier.
That's going to bring out the caution again.
Caution's out on lap 18. Because I think these cars are just on the razor's edge, honestly, because Dylan Smith, interestingly, with that green-colored car, he kind of blended in, but he smacked the wall off of turn 4, ran it into the chicane there for the Roval, and then I think it's bumpy down there because he had it straightened out, and then it just cut to the left.
Yeah, and we've seen that happen so many times, too, where guys will be okay and they'll save it coming off of 4, and then they just run through the grass and get destroyed.
To further our point on the cars being loose, Sherman just lost it going into turn 1. Mikas tried to avoid it, snapped the car to the outside, so that's what turned him. And then DeRozier had to get on the binders to make sure he didn't hit either one of them. So certainly an action-filled race so far here in Charlotte.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely getting our money's worth out of this, if it cost any.
As hearing reports that our technical difficulties are causing you guys to not hear the engine noise here at Charlotte. Not sure what's going on with that. Hopefully we can investigate it during this caution period.
Drivers,
staying out is Matt Wishart with Chris Wetz.
Yeah, Josh, you know, I knew we were missing something over here on the monitor. I just didn't know what it was, and then, there we can hear those engines roar.
As once again, apologize for all these technical issues. HVMP compound had some storms blow in. It was actually flooding inside one of the server rooms, so not a fun couple days that we've dealt with here. So certainly trying to get everything fixed back up, and hopefully we can
there we go.
fix this and have it just as good a quality as before for you.
Yeah, you know,
Kyle
Josh,
Riley.
actually, the whole broadcasting computer was basically underwater. It was sitting in a puddle about 2 inches deep, so we're really lucky that we're even bringing this coverage to you.
Matt Wishart and Chris Wetz are going to float up to the race lead. So Prestige Worldwide, Revolution Racing on the front row. Guess what it's time for? It's a NASA plug as 2 NASA teams on the front row of the grid. Remember, 2019 B will restart in May. We go back to NASCAR 2003 regulations and certainly hope that we can get a numerous amount of cars to join us. We're going to restart at Croft, our famous season openers. The iRacing regulations were fun, but certainly the car count was not there. So remember, Tuesday nights starts off at 9 p.m. Eastern time as practice, and everyone's welcome to join. As we are not going green this time, it'll put Wishart, Wetz, Lambert, and Frisch. A little bit of pit strategy here. Poulin in 4th. As we are going green this time in Charlotte, we are going to have 16 cars still on the track. Jonathan Taylor, who is in 2nd on the last run, was put to 15th in car number 7. So certainly not having a good day. Gonna be Wishart, Wetz, Lambert, Poulin, Frisch, Poti, Ionescu, Rada, Baker, and Mikus, the top 10 here in Charlotte at Concord, North Carolina. Off of turn 4, Wishart will lead us to the restart zone and bring us back to the green flag to close out stage 1, beginning lap 22. It's gonna be 3 to go till the end of the stage. Poti looks like he spun the tires in the 22. 3 wide, it's Taylor with Spencer and Rada, and Taylor forced his way through those two onto the bottom. If there was a track limits rule, he certainly would have broken it. Wishart on the outside in turn 1, bangs it off the wall, and Lambert to the lead with Frisch in second, Poulin in third. Into the wall was Wishart with Wetz. They backed each other up. Dylan Smith recovers now. He's in the Hornet's Nest in 7th, and Nick Baker in 8th. Off of turn 4, Frisch back to the lead as we take 3 to go. Frisch and Lambert battling for the stage win. We have a couple laps to go, and they're racing like it's the end of the race. Wetz slides it in the 71 nearly into the wall. Mikus is around in the 25. He doesn't hit anybody or get hit by anyone. We should stay green, but a tough break for the man from Chicago. Into turn 3 once again. We're coming at 2 to go in stage 1. Top 3 are under a blanket. Side by side, it's Smith with Poulin. Side by side, it's Wetz with Ionescu. Ionescu beats Wetz out of turn 4, and he holds. Now it looks like the 5th spot. Wetz battling with Baker. Baker was one of the fastest cars in practice earlier today, and we know the Valvoline Dodge can get it done.
And some of these guys
are breaking away.
Whoa, Cosman down to the
Ionescu down to the apron. Mikus is trying to get to pit lane. I don't know what's going on.
What
with
a
the 25.
Save. Oh no, there they go.
White flag in the stage. I don't know if we're going to get a caution with that, but Rada slides it off of turn 4. Caution is out, and we're going to run this stage under yellow. The intensity of stage racing, we wouldn't have had that under a normal race.
No, it's nuts. I mean, it looks like some of these guys are racing in rush hour traffic. I mean, there we see that incredible save by Cosman there on the left side of our monitor. And then Baker just gets down on that apron. That apron is the devil, Josh, if you get down on it here at Charlotte. We talked about it last week, maybe helping the cars turn a little bit. If you hit that here, you're done. So.
And the problem was everyone was packed up together, and Wetz got off the gas to try and avoid it. Poti was the meat in the sandwich there, and I feel bad for the Chicagoland winner. He got involved in that as Rada and Baker. Interestingly, Rada and Baker are teammates, and they both crashed.
Well, I mean, gotta love your teammates sometimes, right, Josh?
Number 1 rule in motorsport is not to touch your teammate.
I think the two of us might be a little guilty of that, though.
As Michael Frisch for Prestige Worldwide in the lead, and he's going to come down at a whopping 65 miles an hour and win stage 1. Lambert for Lambert Motorsport Technologies in the 2nd spot, Wishart for Prestige Worldwide, and Dylan Smith for Lambert Motorsport Technologies. And Poulin all by himself in the 21, and then Cosman Ionescu for Big Evil Dodges. So the powerhouses of the Solstice Proline Cup Series, we have Big Evil Racing, Lambert Motorsport Technologies, and Prestige Worldwide. We come down pit lane to end the stage. I don't think it's going to mess up the finishing order, because the pit stalls are down past start finish. Frisch will win stage 1 under caution.
Yeah, and hats off to him. He's always one of those guys who really wants to get those stage points and get the win there, and that's going to help him immensely in the playoffs. Looks like Chad getting an EOL penalty, though.
As Mikus had a rough going there in the 25, looped it in turn 2, somehow did not get hit, and the man from Chicago, who is winless so far in 2019, not having a good day. 3rd in points, 9 back from Poulin. But if we look at the point standings, Frisch has 15 playoff points, double the amount of Poulin.
Yeah, and that's going to give him a huge head start.
That's even before the points now. So remember what happened with Ryan Newman back in 2014 for the first season of the playoff format. Newman didn't win at all and almost won the championship in Homestead without winning. It's consistency. And number one thing in racing, consistency. We don't have to drill that into your heads too many times.
As Josh, I do have to step out of the booth just momentarily, so take it away.
As Frisch now elects the high side, we restart on lap 26 to begin stage 2. Prestige teammates on the front row of the grid. It's going to be Frisch and Wishart with Lambert and Smith. Teammates on the second row. Green flag in Concord at Charlotte. Wishart lets his teammate in as the 58th the Nazareth winner and the Homestead winner, trying to make it potentially 3 in a row. Wishart hits the apron, scoots up the racetrack a little bit in front of Lambert. Smith behind his teammate, and the 46 of Lambert to the inside of Wishart. We're going to see if the outside can prevail here through turns 3 and 4. I'm not sure. One in the wall, it's Sherman. I don't think that's going to be a caution, though. Sherman out of harm's way. Frisch holds the lead. Lambert looks like he's going to get by the 32 of Wishart. He was not clear, so Wishart's going to fight back on the outside. And it's going to be Dylan Smith on the bottom, so nearly 3 wide. Lambert clears his teammate off at turn 2. Will Wishart be able to take the undercut? He can't, because Dylan Smith's there. As the former teammates in Nassau Rallycross, not teammates here. No love lost between them. Wishart backs up the entry, got a little bit loose in the middle of the corner, and it's going to put Smith to 3rd. Taylor recovers back to 5th, battling Ionescu, the 5 flags winner. Every point counts in the Proline Cup Series. You've heard that in every single series, but you want to stay as far up as you can every single race. As one around in the back of the shot, it's going to be Rada in car number 3, hits the inside wall. So one of the Big Evil Dodges looks like he will be in the back of the field, and I think he has parked the car in car number 3.
Yeah, Rada definitely having a tough day there. A lot of the Big Evil Motorsports guys just not performing like they usually do.
As I believe he has parked the car in car number 3. Let's go back to the front of the field here. Frisch ahead of Lambert, ahead of Taylor, ahead of Dylan Smith. Spencer, Ionescu, Wishart, Mikas. So Mikas is climbing his way back to the front. And Rada, in fact, has parked the car in car number 3.
Oh,
so
Wet's around.
15 cars left. Wet's around again in the 71. The former champion of the series, the man from Texas. Not having a good day is the cliche of tonight's race. But it looks like he'll keep it rolling in the 71. We're starting to calm down now. Fastest lap, Lambert, a 28.465. Dylan Smith, 28.467. So the Lambert Motorsport cars have something up their sleeve, but that something up their sleeve is not helping them with the race lead. The gap is the gap is actually Lambert's number, 0.46 of a second. Bailey leads over Lambert. See what it resets to at the line, 0.48. Taylor knocking on the door for second spot. And the man who is incredibly quick here in Proline, but has the worst luck. Remember, he was on pole for Nazareth, connection issues, didn't take the green as the pole sitter. That helped Michael Frisch take that victory. They were side by side for a moment. They're single file off of turn 4. Dylan Smith in 4th. Corey Spencer 5th. Ionescu, Wishart, Mike is battling Poteet. Poteet's 9th. 10th is Baker. 11th is Poulin. 12th DeRozier. 13th Sherman. 14th Kyle Riley. 15th Chris Wetz. 2 cars out of the race. It's going to be Steve Rada and Joey Bailey. As the gap is 0.5 of a second now between Frisch, and it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. So Taylor got around Lambert. They're all running, looks like about the same lap times. 29.0 for Taylor, 29.1 for Lambert, 29.0 for Dylan Smith, 29.1s really throughout the field. except for Michael Frisch, a 28.862. So he really has something up his sleeve on these mile-and-a-half tracks.
Yeah, definitely a strong suit for sure.
In lap 38 here in Charlotte. Remember, we go till lap number 50 for the second stage here in the Proline Cup Series. As 15 cars left. Kyle Riley, I think, looks like he has some roof damage. I'm not sure if that is all too correct. I don't believe he flipped at all. But he is not keeping up with minimum speed. He's having to get out of the gas a lot in car number 40, so he might be going a lap down. And if we talk about seasons that haven't gone very well, Kyle Riley would be at the top of that list.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it all goes back to that incident earlier in the race where he couldn't get checked up and got into that accident. So that definitely hindering him through the remainder of the race.
As a Prestige Worldwide car is on the tail end of the lead lap, he's about to get lapped by his teammate Michael Frisch in car number 58. And Wishart not having a bad day either in car number 32. He is in the 7th position. Corey Spencer battling with Cosmin Ionescu for the 5th spot, sorry. We have to correct ourselves as we did a last-second Facebook search of Mr. Ionescu through the race last week in 5 Flags. It said Austria. We are incorrect. Is from Romania. So apologize to him and his fans for car number 24. As Riley in the wall in the 40 to stay out of the way. He's almost, unless there's something going on. And Chad Mikus has left the circuit, Dylan. What has happened to Chad Mikus?
See if we can get a report from our pit lane reporter, but Brandon Nicholson, he's down there on pit road. He'll get the latest on that. So why we don't have Chad?
As I'm looking on my monitor, he just parked it in pit lane. So hopefully we can get an update. But one of the fastest guys that hasn't won a race this season doesn't look like he's going to be taking part in the rest of the event. And I'm really surprised by the amount of attrition today. We figured that Charlotte is one of the more ran tracks, one of the more race tracks, one of the more experienced tracks throughout the field. And we have 4 cars out of the race before the end of the second stage.
Yeah, and it's crazy. We're looking on our monitors here in the production booth. Both Brandon Nicholson and we can't get really any info. That he just seemed to just park.
Maybe he was a little dejected. I believe he did hit the wall in the 25 with the front end of the car. I might be wrong, but even if he backed it in, these cars are so sensitive. There might be some engine damage or something mechanically that just didn't help the 25. So one of the fastest guys in the Proline Cup Series, still winless in 2019, and it certainly doesn't help his case for the championship.
Yeah, and there we see that contact with him into the wall, and our points leader, Jake Poulin, coming right past. I think Brandon might have a report for us.
So we're getting reports down here. Chad Mikus had broke something in the engine of that car when he hit the wall there. They're bringing it down pit road, gonna try and get it repaired. It doesn't look like they're gonna be getting back out to race though. Something as well to note: Dylan Smith is flying out there after the restart. After he just got passed by Cosmin, I think he can use the draft to catch up to third, because he was putting faster lap times down than Lambert for a consistent amount of laps. He's reporting that that car is flying, even though it did go through the grass earlier in the race.
Thank you, Brandon. We have to update Matt Wishart fans. The 32 was up front with his teammate, and now the 32 is in 13th, battling Chris Wetz. He did loop it off a turn 2. So this track, this package, I know they've changed the package. I believe this is the same one as Chicago, but it's just so difficult to drive.
Yeah, and you know, I've raced here in the Solstice Proline series and in the Dash series, and every time wets through the grass. Wasn't really a pass in the grass. I think Wets just got lost.
We joked with Wets in happy hour. We told him that NASA, this is not NASA. You don't have to take a Joker lap. And Keith Sherman immediately came over the scanner, said, "Well, guys, 15 Joker laps in the race. It's official now." Of course, all joking aside, but that has been, you know, a common occurrence with these cars, just heading toward the grass. They just want to turn left, but sometimes the setup just makes them want to turn more to the left.
Yeah, and before we saw Wets get sideways, I was gonna say, I've raced here. It's slippery, it's grimy, it's tight. I mean, it's just, everything is so close here, and the cars go so fast, and things happen so quick that get yourself caught up really quick, really easily.
Kyle Riley ended up in the grass there in the 40. And we're going to take the white flag in stage 2. The man who has not struggled for the Prestige Worldwide camp is Michael Frisch. We're going to take that white flag in the second stage. The first time this season that we're going to have 3 stages. And Michael Frisch, like I said a couple weeks ago, I wasn't too familiar with him. He ran one NASA race, 2012B Charlotte. He only practiced, keep in mind. That's the last time I have seen him, and he has certainly grown as a driver since then, as the green and white tablecloth comes out for the 3M Ford winning stage 2.
Yeah, and don't forget Jonathan Taylor there finishing in second.
Recovering from 16th on that restart. As this race, it's interesting. I mean, it's not, you know, the most passing. Certainly when they were coming to that first stage, that was crazy. The restarts are crazy. This really fascinates the road racing side of me because it's a strategic race. You don't want to overdrive your stuff. You don't want to pit too early. It's making me very happy to see.
Oh yeah, and at the same time, you know, I mean, there's a sense of urgency all the time. I mean, and like I said earlier, it looks like Cosman and some of those guys who have been battling really hard for that 3rd and 4th spot that just doesn't seem to unravel. I mean, those guys look like they're driving down Santa Fe in Denver. You know, it's crazy.
As the first stage,
his wife's around getting on the pit road.
Localize a couple more of the viewers. The first stage reminded me of the 8094 corridor in Northwest Indiana. That's really how that was. And Dylan, you'd be familiar with that as well. So,
oh yeah, bobbing and weaving. That's for sure.
Certainly crazy. A lot like Colorado 470 as well. And of course your local interstate. Spencer has a terrible time every week trying to get into his pit box. He ran it through the pit stall again. Michael Frisch will hold the lead, it looks like, as we will try and bring in our stage 1 and 2 winner. As Michael Frisch, you won stage 1, you won stage 2, and you're leading off of pit lane. Don't tell me too much, but what's your strategy for this 3rd stage?
Just keep the pace I'm going at. I feel pretty comfortable at it.
As your teammates have had a rough time, I assume you guys, obviously, same team, same cars. Are you worried that what bit them is going to bite you?
No, I'm just gonna not worry about it. Not even gonna think about that. Just run my race.
As I don't want to keep you too long, so good luck in that 3rd stage, my friend, and hopefully you can make it 3 on the season.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
They're not going green this time. Race control mentioned that. Frisch, Yonesu, Taylor, and I believe it's Lambert, Spencer, Dylan Smith, Baker, Poteet, Poulin, DeRozier, Sherman, Wishart, and I believe it's Riley and Wetz. 3 cars out of the race. It's going to be Chad Mikas, Steve Rada, and Joey Bailey. Still very weird to see Chad Mikas out of the race, as man from Chicago, one of the fastest guys here. We know he has the talent on these 1.5 miles, and just something broke in that big evil Chevrolet.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, when you're having a rough day like Chad is, it's it's hard to continue on and just log laps after the race just isn't going your way. We're seeing Kyle Riley do it, and some of the other guys just trying to get as many points as they can, you know, over Chad and those guys. So you definitely want to stay out there and run as much as you can, get as many laps in, but it gets frustrating really quick sometimes. So
as we're going to have 50 laps until the race finish. If you're just joining our coverage, we are going to have a little bit of a timing and scoring glitch tonight. Solstice Racing, HBMP having a little bit of an issue, so we might have at least some form of timing box. That box might say 108. We are not going to 108. We are going to lap 103. A little bit of time there due to, again, timing and scoring being broken. That allows us to have a green-white checker finish if necessary. So we are going to 103. Let's not have a mix-up like we did in Homestead. Michael Frisch on the front row with now Cosmin Ionescu. It was a Prestige Worldwide front row. The Prestige guys are in the back of the field. The only Prestige car up front is Frisch. Swept the first 2 stages, and let's see if he can get it done here in Concord, North Carolina. 60 miles an hour, restart zone, going back green in Charlotte. Ionescu gets a great jump on the 58, but I don't think that's going to help him going into turn number 1. The Five Flags winner alongside the Nazareth and Homestead winner. Spencer on the apron in the 11 comes back up in front of Baker in the 9. That's going to separate the field in half. DeRozier around in the 23. And the Tide Toyota for Lambert Motorsport Technologies into the wall. We're talking about tough seasons. He certainly has had one as well, as the caution comes out again.
And there we see the incident in the backstretch.
Frisch, Ionescu, Taylor, Lambert, Smith, the top 5.
Yeah, and it's like, Josh, I'm even getting antsy up here in the booth waiting for this thing to get going and get to the end. It's like, I want to see who's going to win.
As we're going to bring in here Kyle Riley in car number 40. As Kyle Riley's had a terrible race so far. We did interview Michael Frisch, stage winner, the other Prestige Worldwide car. And Kyle Riley, what can you tell me what happened to your race car?
Well, we got in some trouble in the first crash. We got really hit really hard, but I just want to give a call to my sponsor. This entire race car has been assembled with parts bought from Target, and without that, I don't know if we'd still be in the race right now. We got hit going like 160. It's just not going well, but we're still in the field. We got 3 spots I wouldn't have had otherwise. If we were sponsored by Lowe's, we would be in the garage right now.
As I can't help but laugh on the live broadcast. That was one of the best interviews I've ever had.
Well, there you go. Now we know Target's the best place to get automotive parts, and
so
Target
everybody's
Automotive
out of
working hard on
business.
this crew.
We got to go to Target. Everyone else is out of business. Thank you, Kyle Riley. I can't help. Sorry, guys. I can't help but live laugh. That's great. Solstice Racing always provides, obviously, some action, but some comedy relief as well.
That's what makes it so fun to cover this series. I mean, always excitement, always jokes, always.
Frisch gets
Look
a
out.
black flag in the 58. This is huge.
So is he going to be able to drive back up through the field? He's got plenty of time to do it, but does he have it in him? How bad does he want to win? How bad does he want to get back up to the front? Watch him on this restart. He's going to be making moves.
If he can, granted there's a lot of time left, but if he can climb back up, that's going to be one of the best drives we've seen. We did see it in Nazareth. We remember he spun in Nazareth. It wasn't a black flag. He wrecked. He was out, and he climbed back up to win that race.
Yeah, so if I had to bet on him, I still would be confident if I had money locked in on him. So
as now it's going to be Cosmin Ionescu and Jonathan Taylor side by side here in Concord. Looks like we're going to restart here at lap 56 coming to 57. We'll see when we hit the restart zone if we go back green. Taylor gets a terrible start in the 7. So does Poulin in the 21. That's going to back Poulin up to the 1 of Dylan Smith. Yonesu loves this. He's got a car length advantage from himself to Jonathan Taylor. Corey Spencer on the outside. Poulin in 4th. 5th is side-by-side Smith with Poteet. Wishart side-by-side with Lambert. And Frisch has gotten a couple spots already. Side by side, still Spencer with, it was Taylor. Smith went to the inside, thought better of it to make it 3 wide, but he certainly gets past Corey Spencer. Brings his teammate Lambert along for the ride. Wishart in the 32 following him, and Frisch is motoring his way through this field, sliced past Wetz, and he's side by side with Poteet now.
Yeah,
you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Kyle Busch when he gets sent to the back of the field in 3 laps, he's in the race lead.
Yeah, it was like that truck race. It's like he just puts his foot down and nope, excuse me, gotta go, I'm late.
The joke in the sim community is about the grip hacks. Of course, Frisch does not have any, but it's certainly, you put your foot down and it makes you feel like it on those fresh tires.
Oh yeah, and I mean, he's got no reason to worry. I mean, other than we're taking it down the final laps here, but I mean, look at the man who's been stuck in traffic all day up front. That's gonna be Cosmin Yaneshu.
As Frisch was speeding on pit lane was the reason why he was sent to the back of the field. We forgot to mention when race control told us, so that's why Frisch was in the back of the field, but now he's in 7th. It's Yonesu, Taylor, Smith, side by side, Lambert with Spencer, and Wishart ahead of his teammate.
Yeah, and Taylor gets right up there on the back bumper of him. Can he make anything of it this time?
Side by side, Yonesu and Taylor. Frisch peeked to the outside on his teammate. Couldn't make anything happen.
He's
Yonesu
there.
holds the lead. Spencer, side by side with Wishart.
Oh.
As Lambert gets turned by Spencer. And Spencer hits Wishart, and around they both go. And Wishart to the inside of the wall. Can he keep it off? No, he cannot. And it looks like the caution's going to be out again.
Keith Sherman also involved. Cole DeRozier again getting caught up.
The whole joke about press F to pay respects, Cole DeRozier's season, the 23 has, it's not any of his fault. Let's preface that. Not his fault at all, but he's had a horrible season.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's been trying really hard, but we saw him like hit the pit wall in a Homestead, and just those little heartbreaking moments that just you hate to see happen to anyone. So
Taylor leads Yonesu, Dylan Smith, Frisch, Poteet, Poulin, Baker, Wetz, Spencer, Wishart, DeRozier, Riley, Sherman, Lambert. So 14 cars on the track. Remember, we have 3 cars off. It's Chad Mikas, Steve Rada, and Joey Bailey. As this season for the Proline Cup Series, in the middle of the regular season, a couple of weeks until the playoffs, and I'm still going to race at the Colorado Motorplex, but every week that goes by, I'm thinking, do I really want to race? I'm having so much fun up here.
yeah, well, not only are we having fun up here, I mean, you might have a heart attack, Josh, if you go out there in the track. I mean, just the way that the season's been going, it's incredible, intense. So
points leader Poulin in 21 will be leading us here. Stays out on the 64th lap of the event. You almost forget that Poulin's the points leader. Frisch is in 2nd in points. Mikas off the track. Bailey off the track. So Lambert's going to benefit from this. If we take a moment while we're under caution, Poulin leads over 6 points over Frisch. It's 9 back to Mikas, 15 to Bailey, 34 to Lambert, 44 to Poteet. Sherman's 50 back. Smith 51. Wetz 54. Spencer 61. Yonesu 62. Wishart 62. It's a huge gap from 4th on back.
yeah, some of those guys are on Gilligan's Island back there in no man's land in the points. This is definitely going to shuffle it up though, because we're seeing our points leaders and the guys who we're used to seeing up front struggle here. I mean, sans Frisch, but Frisch is just putting on a show, and probably is going to take over the points lead after this.
Poulin pits in the 21. Like he wants to get that point for the lap led, and he will stay out here. DeRozier and Spencer are going to have a black flag. Might have been speeding on pit lane. This puts Frisch.
Look at who snuck up. Frisch is third. How did he do that?
Like I said, put the foot to the floor and relied on those fresh tires. I will tell you from my experience, you know, my oval experience isn't the greatest, but I remember on iRacing, put fresh tires on. For some reason, I remember at Michigan. I just have the most experience there in the Xfinity car. You put fresh tires on there, you could literally flat-foot it for the first couple laps. And I think that's what Frisch was doing, because you have the grip. You're like Superman.
Yeah, and then it's, you know, you always got to think, though, how is that going to affect my tires later in the run? And is she with Riley there?
As remember, go to Target and buy all your automotive parts, and your car will work at 180 miles an hour even after getting involved in an accident.
Just don't hit 188, then you're going back to the future.
We're going to restart on lap 65 here in stage 3. Taylor and Yonescu, then it's Frisch, Smith, and Poteet, top 5.
Cut them loose.
Let's see if Frisch can get back to the front. Green flag. Lambert got a great restart. Frisch looked like he spun the tires. Poteet went to the inside of him.
Riley through
into
the grass.
In the 40. It wasn't a pass in the grass. It was just a lawnmower maneuver. And Taylor's going to hold the lead over Yonescu off of turn 2. We're going to put Frisch battling with Dylan Smith. Smith had the run on the outside in car number 1. Poteet battling Baker, 22 and 9. Frisch bottom feeding in car number 58. Taylor has a car length and a half, maybe, over Yonescu.
And Lambert's struggling a little bit. It looked like he had some transponder issues on that restart. It made him drop back, and looks like things are starting to settle out now, and he's starting to come back through. But
as Taylor leading Yonescu, who leads Dylan Smith, who leads Michael Frisch. About 2 car lengths from Taylor to Yonescu, and then it's nothing from Yonescu to Dylan Smith, but I think Dylan Smith is hindering Frisch's progress here. Smith goes to the inside on Yonescu. What will Frisch do in the 58? He's going to follow car number 1.
Ooh, getting ever so close. Oh, he's peeking left, he's peeking right.
He would certainly get a citation for following too close on Dylan Smith, exiting turn 4. But he's now on the outside of car number 1. Can he get the momentum to pass him and maybe clear Yonescu? Yonescu slides up in the 24. 58 gets by the 1, put him to 3rd. Will he bump the 24? He got a little loose entering 3 there. Through 3 and 4. Taylor loves this. We remember what happened with Taylor. I believe it was Homestead with car number 7.
Oh, and Frisch is so much faster than Cosman right now. Cosman's making that car really wide, though, really making Frisch work for it. Here he comes on the inside. Nope, peeks back in line.
Interestingly, they ran the same lap time.
Wow. Oh, here he comes. He's going to try to peek on the inside.
To the inside of the 24 comes the 58 of Michael Frisch.
Yeah, and he's definitely going to have to size him up a couple of corners before he makes his move, and I think that's what he's getting ready to do right now. We're watching him drop back off the bumper a little bit. Let Cosman not worry so much, kind of forget him a little bit, and then surprise attack him.
Here's the interesting thing. Taylor is not setting blistering lap times. They're all running the same lap time. They're 0.2 of a second faster than Dylan Smith, who ran a 28.8. They all ran 28.6s. Everyone is on the same pace. So it's not like Taylor's really benefiting from this. So I find that absolutely Very fascinating. The gap was 4.5 tenths from Taylor to Yonescu. Let's see how this refreshes here as we begin lap 72. The gap is shrinking while Yonescu and Frisch battle. Yonescu, they nearly made contact entering turn 1. That got so close between the 24 and the 58.
Yeah, and right now Frisch is telling Cosman, dude, I gotta go.
We remember that Jonathan Taylor gets into a rhythm and he starts to set sail, and Frisch does not want that. Frisch wants to take another victory. He's got a decent amount of time left, about 30 laps to go.
And you're so right, Josh. When Taylor is strong, and looks like Cosman's finally going to succeed to Michael Frisch there. Maybe try to give a little bit of a slide job, maybe, or pull back around.
He was a 10th faster than both of them that last lap. The gap increased to half a second. Now Frisch has to, obviously he's got the visor down already, but if he didn't, he's got to put the visor down, he's got to focus, he's got to say, nah, not so fast, I'm going to catch you. The gap has went back down from 0.51 to 0.46. Kyle Riley in the 40, looped it in turn 1 again.
Yeah, so it looks like he's going to let the leaders by here.
Not a good day for the other Prestige Worldwide cars. Prestige Worldwide trying to get a 3rd race win out of 7 races and begin a dominating run to the playoffs. 28.832 to an 8.75. Gap is 4 tenths of a second. It is, you're a pickaxe and you're getting into this rock formation, and every little bit inching your way closer.
Yeah, and it's really a game of inches here. We've talked about it before here in the Solstice Proline series. Give a guy an inch, he's going to try to take a mile. Oh, here he comes!
Run off a turn 4. And the battle is now between Taylor and Frisch. Taylor had a terrible run through 3 and 4, I do believe, and Frisch is going to pounce. It's going to be side by side for the race lead at Charlotte.
Yeah, and this is incredible. It's like Taylor just threw the anchor out in the back of the car. Here comes Cosman. Cosman sneaking up.
Terrible run every time through the middle of 3 and 4 and exiting 4. And Frisch, he was not credited with leading that lap, but he's going to try and take the lead again. Will he slide up on Taylor? Will Taylor get the run on the outside? Off of turn 2, Taylor hits the wall and put Frisch to the lead.
Wow, what an incredible showcase of talent there by Michael Frisch. That was to pick him off like that, both Cosman and Taylor, and now he's pulling away. That's something right there.
Here's the issue: how badly did Taylor bobble in 3 and 4 to give up half a second in one corner? As a road course guy, of course, one corner at a road course tells you, oh, that's easy to do. But in an oval, Dylan, in one corner,
and it happens, and that's the most frustrating thing. As a race car, as an oval race car driver, as if you blow one corner, I mean, when it's a game of inches, you just messed everything up, and then it's going to mess your run into the next corner, and then it's all about momentum, Josh.
The gap,
for sure,
0.38, 4 tenths of a second. That was how big the gap was 2 laps ago. So the gap, Frisch has made up 8 tenths of a second on Taylor. And what a run for Michael Frisch. Granted, the race is not over, but we were talking about how that black flag hopefully wouldn't hinder him, and it certainly really hasn't.
Yeah, and for anyone to overcome that and then come back through to the lead is especially when it's as tight as this is I mean, wow, you know?
So now Taylor falls into the clutches of Yonescu. It's 0.47 seconds from Frisch to Taylor, and Taylor's got to be kicking himself to say, how did I just let that much time go away?
Yeah, he's definitely going to be thinking about that after the race for a long time for sure. He's going to beat himself up. I mean, that's just... Oh, Dylan Smith going to the pits.
So Dylan Smith, once we find him, he was, I believe, in about 5th spot. Maybe it's green flag pit stops, because remember, this stage is longer than the other stages. The other stages were 25 laps. We're right about that point.
And so that's interesting. Maybe we can get a report from our pit road reporter, Brandon, and see what's going on, if we're getting green flag pit stops or if that was an issue with Dylan.
Yeah, it looks like we're having some strategy calls here. Everybody's going to have to make at least one more pit stop before the end of the race. These guys are planning out a long run now that the guys have gotten a feel for the track. Seems like the track's a little bit looser on newer tires, so these guys, the tire fall off is still real. Solstice has brought a new tire compound, and every week this year it's had major fall off. So these guys are taking some strategy calls in pit road early. Dylan Poteet on pit road as well.
Poteet pits in the 22s. The Chicagoland winner tries to get the upper hand on his competition. Kyle Riley has parked the car in car number 40, so we have 13 cars left here in Charlotte. Yonescu got by Taylor, and the gap at the line now reads, it looks like, over a second. Has to be, once it refreshes, 0.8 of a second. So I was incorrect, but it's still a huge gap. Frisch and Poulin are going to pit this lap. Poulin on pit lane now, so the race leader in car number 58, this is the money stop. You cannot speed on pit lane.
Yeah, and to piggyback off what our pit road reporter, Brandon Nicholson, said, when these guys are trying to short pit, that could be a good strategy.
Oh, Frisch locks it up! And he nearly hits the wall! What a great save! All four were locked up. You got to pit anyways. He was going to change tires. Hopefully that doesn't affect him entering his pit stall. DeRozier down pit lane as well. Focusing on Cosmin Ionescu, who will head down pit lane this time in the 24. Frisch gets into his box. Ionescu will pit now. Ionescu has the same problem, but he did not slide it like Frisch did. But he's dead.
Oh, no!
He hits the wall in the 24. Ionescu looped it on pit entry.
And that is game over. A second on the track is, or on pit road is just, it multiplies to like 4 or 5 seconds on the racetrack after you get out. That's just, such a heartbreak.
He slid it entering pit lane. I thought he was good and looped it on the apron. The race for the lead right now is Nick Baker with Jonathan Taylor. Baker's going to be credited for the race lead for the Big Evil Dodges. At least one of these guys haven't had an issue. DeRozier exits pit lane for Lambert Motorsport Technologies. Wetz roughing up Taylor. Taylor, I think, is saving fuel. I don't think he's going to pit. I think he's going to try and save as much fuel as he can. Spencer, third. Taylor now fourth. Wetz in second. I don't think Taylor's going to pit. I think Taylor's going to try and save fuel, but this might not work out for him.
And Josh, we have a huge development. Michael Frisch is back on pit road, serving a pass-through penalty there.
What is going on here in Charlotte?
So it's falling apart for the leaders, Josh. This changes everything.
Nick Baker clutching in the 9. Wetz pits in the 71. Spencer pits in the 11. Taylor is clutching still. I think we're going to get our first fuel mileage race of the season. Where is Michael Frisch? Credited with 13th. 2 laps down.
Yeah, just that. God, that's game over. It was game over for Cosmin, game over for Frisch. Man, that's just it's a heartbreak.
Engines turning off. Baker and Taylor off throttle in both the 9 and the 7.
Yeah, and so Josh, I know you're haven't seen really a whole lot of Solstice races, but this is going to turn into one of those Solstice races where somebody completely random can win now. It could be somebody who's been in the back all day who pulls off good strategy. I've seen it before. This is gold right here as far as strategy is concerned. These races always turn up to be really, really, really exciting to watch.
If we were watching this, if we were just watching this as fans, I would ask you to tell me, is this like Berlin for TRT? And you tell me yes, I totally understand it.
Oh, this totally is. I mean, you know, you can. Nick Baker, we'll see if he can do it. We're coming down to the finish here.
We have to see. Poteet in the 22. Remember, he was the first man to pit. And if these guys are saving fuel, I think he's in the catbird seat. Because Lambert's on the clutch. Dylan is not. Dylan Smith is not. We know Taylor is, and so is Baker. They have to be trying, with 10 to go, saving every drop.
Well, and Taylor is running almost 31-second lap times compared to his 28.488. So, I mean, that just shows you how much he's letting off.
He's letting everybody by. I think he's banking on everyone else running out of fuel.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be coming down to the wire here for... I mean, it's going to take everything in the tank, Josh.
So we'll try and get Brandon Nicholson down on pit lane to see if he can figure out what happened to Frisch. The only thing I can think of was he locked up the brakes and sped through the commitment cone.
Yeah, it looked like a pass-through penalty, Josh, for sure, so...
Haven't heard anything from race control, but this absolutely kills the stage 1 and stage 2 winner. Baker on the clutch. Put the 9 out of the race lead. Where is Taylor? Taylor is also out of the race lead. This puts Dylan Smith, unless I could be wrong, to the race lead. Our timing hasn't updated, so we stand corrected here. Poteet and Smith are on the tail end of the lead lap.
Yeah, so this is
Calamity. This is the battle for the race lead. It's Baker versus Jonathan Taylor.
Oh man, and who's gonna squeeze the throttle a little bit harder to try to get the other guy? Taylor's coming up with the run. He's gonna attack right now, but can he save it to the end?
They're both on the clutch. I don't think trying to fight right now is a good idea. And one around, it's Sherman in the 15. And he was in 4th, so he's gonna be back off the lead lap. He's gonna be back in 6th, at least.
So I'm not sure where that's going to put our spin count at. I'm not sure if those incidents coming on the pit road count it as towards our spin count.
13 cars still on the lead lap. The closing stages here in Charlotte. The Solstice Proline Cup Series. Lap times are 31-1, 31-2. Baker versus Jonathan Taylor. Lambert running 31-second laps. Ionescu, who is off the lead lap in 8th, going to go by them, pulling off the lead lap. These guys haven't pitted. So here's the thing. Really, I think Dylan Smith or Poteet, if something goes wrong with these top 3, they're going to be in the catbird seat.
Yeah, it's definitely... oh, it's Frisch having more issues off turn 2.
And when it rains, it pours in Solstice Racing. And it's just like the weather. You can go from sunny to downpouring. And that's what happened to Michael Frisch.
Yeah, and we're starting to see all the pit strategy and stuff cycle out. We're watching the guys who did pit pass the leaders there.
Poteet and Smith are battling like they're battling for the race win. You know why? Because if these guys run out of fuel, this is the battle for the race lead. It's Dylan Smith versus Dylan Poteet. Battle of the Dylans. This is for 4th. They are 23 seconds behind the race leader.
And Josh, Jake Poulin just split the leaders 3 wide to get around him.
Taylor holds the lead over Baker. 145 miles an hour on the clutch. No engine noise from either of them. Now here's the issue that I'm thinking of. We're coming to 4 laps to go. If these guys get back into the clutch too fast, do you think that could blow something up in the engine?
You know, you got to really be careful when you're doing extracurricular activities in the car. Definitely can wear the clutch out and stuff like that. So
Lambert's coming. He's a 1.5 seconds off these guys' pace. We're coming to 3 to go. Here in Charlotte, correction, 4 laps to go. And these guys are running on fumes. It's 1.3 seconds from Baker to Lambert. That is not for the lead, that is for 2nd. Those 2 in the back, it's Poteet and Smith. They are 20 seconds behind the leader. They're not going to be able to make this unless these guys run out of fuel. Through 3 and 4, coming to 3 to go. Will they have to pit? No, I thought they were going to. That would kill their races, obviously. 3 to go.
Yeah, no, the only way you could pit now would be points. And Josh, I actually went to one of the NASCAR races here. It was so disappointing. I'm sure many, many race car fans remember this. When Dale Jr. ran out of gas on the last lap, we were sitting in turn 2, couldn't see turn 4. We didn't see him run out of fuel and go onto the apron. And we thought he won. We were celebrating like crazy. And Kevin Harvick came around for the win. So
that was 2011.
Scenario just
Coca-Cola
like
600.
that.
2 to go for Jonathan Taylor in car number 7. Running on fumes.
Now Baker's starting to force
Lambert,
the issue.
I think Lambert's out. He went from a second and a half to 3 seconds behind. Those two are 16 seconds. They are coming fast. Taylor's weaving it. Is he out in the 7? I think he is. You gotta be on the clutch this whole last lap if you want to try and make this victory. Nick Baker takes the white flag for Big Evil Dodges. He's got 1.5 miles to try and literally, as the pace car says, splash and go. Taylor's out. Taylor is out in car number 7. The fuel's not going to help him, and he's not going to make it. I think Baker might be out through 3 and 4. You talked about it.
Can he do it?
This kind of race, and Nick Baker's
my
going to
God.
win in Charlotte on fuel mileage for Big Evil Dodges.
Josh,
What a
that
race.
was incredible. Oh my God. Woo.
As second, where is Jonathan Taylor? Lambert ran out as well.
And I don't think Baker's going to have enough fuel to... He's getting a little help there from Wishart to get up to the... they're starting to train for him. They want him to park down on the
second,
front.
third Dylan Smith, fourth Ionescu, fifth Wetz, sixth Lambert, who did run out of fuel, Poulin, Spencer, Taylor ran out of fuel, DeRozier in 10th, 11th Wishart, 12th Frisch, 13th Sherman, then Riley, Mikas, Rada, and Joey Bailey.
And so
What did we just
congratulations. We witnessed one really, really, really smart race car driver. I'm so glad he has enough in the tank to do a burnout. Yeah, let him burn the house down. He definitely deserved that. That was, he knew he could feel it make Baker's run since the beginning. He knew that something like that could definitely happen. And I hate to say I told you so, Josh, but I told you so.
Nick Baker, can I hire you as my strategist? Because I want to figure out how the hell that you just won this race.
Well, I actually wasn't planning on saving. The way I was driving, I was saving a little bit, but not enough to go the distance. And then once everyone pitted, I just went full fuel save mode, and actually Jonathan caught me, and I thought that he was going to be good because he was saving for longer than I was. And then I just saw Lambert drop off, and I just had enough somehow.
Yeah, and
Anything
Baker,
you'd like to ask the race winner?
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask him, like, when did you feel, because I know you've seen this happen before where it turns into a fuel mileage race and it's and it turns into strategy. When did that moment happen for you? When did you say, okay, well, these guys are pitting, but I think I have enough in it to go? I mean, how did you make that decision?
I actually never thought that I could make it, to be honest. I did not expect to actually make it to the finish, let alone keep enough time in front of everyone else to still win it.
Yeah, it's so cool to see the congratulations and the support from the other racers too. Congrats, Nick. That was an incredible show to watch. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that battle with Jonathan there at the end, that was really fun and very difficult because you're trying to save and outsave each other and battle and for the potential win. That was crazy. That was fun to do also.
Yeah, when you put your foot down there in the last couple of laps, is that when you knew it's go time, I gotta go, I got enough in the tank?
I was just driving like I had been previously. I didn't know that Jonathan was running out right there. I still had a little bit in the tank, but I was at the yellow on the fuel gauge. And just, okay, well, 2 to go. All hell breaks loose here, I guess.
Well, incredible to watch. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Baker came into tonight 15th in points, 82 behind Jake Poulin. And obviously a win does not mean you're in, but it certainly should shove him up into the top 12 as we'll go over the final results here in Concord, North Carolina. Nick Baker, your race winner in car number 9, then Dylan Smith, Cosmin Ionescu, Chris Wetz, and Brandon Lambert rounds out the top 5. Lambert ran out of fuel in car number 46. Jake Poulin, Corey Spencer, Matt Wishart, Jonathan Taylor, and Dylan Poteet. Taylor also ran out of fuel. We sure thought that Poteet was going to be able to try and take the victory, but the fuel mileage prevailed. Ionescu finished, unless our timing's incorrect, it says he finished 3rd. I'm not sure. We'll have to keep an eyeball on that because Ionescu spun while battling essentially strategically with Frisch. Frisch had that drive-through penalty, finishes 12th, then it's Sherman, and Kyle Riley, Micus, Rada, and Bailey. Now, people don't like mile and a half because of that fact, but I have to say that strategically, that kind of stuff is my favorite.
Yeah, and there was nothing cookie cutter about any of that. That was just, I'm at a loss for words, Josh. It's just incredible.
Remember, next week, we're going to have an off day for the Solstice Proline Cup Series, so we will join you back on April 11th at the Darlington Raceway. That will be a throwback race, and that will certainly be a great event. From everyone here at High Voltage Media Productions, Brandon Nicholson, Dylan Livingood, Dylan Body, who was not here today, I am Josh Mertz. We hope you enjoyed today's coverage. Congratulations to Nick Baker, and we will see you in a couple weeks' time. But until then, so long, everyone.